There is a kind of freedom most people never experience, a level of inner peace that seems almost impossible in a world full of opinions, misunderstandings, criticism, and emotional noise. It's the freedom that comes from learning not to take things personally. And when you master that art, when you truly internalize it, not only does your peace return, but your power returns as well. Because the truth is this, most of your emotional wounds didn't come from what people did. They came from what you believed about what they did. And once you understand that, you start to see that the world isn't attacking you as much as you thought. Most of the time, people are fighting battles that have nothing to do with you. Remember this term, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Imagine this. You walk into work in the morning. You're in a decent mood, maybe a little tired, but ready to get through the day. You say good morning to someone, and they barely acknowledge you. Or maybe they respond with an attitude. Or maybe they ignore you altogether. Most people will carry that tiny moment like a weight. They replay it while getting coffee. They replay it during lunch. They tell someone else about it. They let it slowly take control of their emotional state for the rest of the day. But Stoicism offers a completely different way of seeing that experience. Their reaction belongs to them, not you. Their mood is their business, not yours. Their attitude is a reflection of their inner world, not your worth. When someone snaps at you, when someone dismisses you, when someone disrespects you, they are revealing the contents of their own mind, not the truth about who you are. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. There's a classic Stoic story about a man walking through a crowded marketplace. Someone shoved him hard enough to make him stumble. Instead of yelling or starting a fight, he simply regained his balance and kept walking. His friend asked, "Why didn't you confront him? He pushed you on purpose." The man replied, "No one who is truly at peace behaves like that. His behavior speaks for his suffering, not mine." That's the Stoic perspective. If someone is unkind, they are acting from their own pain. If someone is rude, they are acting from their own confusion. If someone insults you, they are acting from their own weakness. And when you react emotionally, you are letting their suffering enter your mind. But you don't have to let it in. You can observe the behavior without absorbing it. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Let's go deeper. Most people think an insult hurts because of the words themselves, but the Stoics taught something powerful. Words cannot harm you unless your judgment agrees with them. Someone could call you the worst name in the world, but if you don't accept it as your identity, it loses all power. If a stranger walked up to you and said, "You're a terrible surgeon," but you aren't a surgeon, would you take offense? Of course not. Why? Because the insult doesn't connect with your self-belief. Pain enters only when you allow the words to define you, even for a moment. And that means if your interpretation creates the wound, then your interpretation can also remove the wound. Change the meaning, and you remove the pain. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. People rarely act based on you. They act based on what's happening inside of them. Their stress, their fears, their past experiences, their insecurities, their misunderstandings, their emotional state. Most of what people do is a projection of their internal world, not a reflection of your value. Most conflict isn't personal, it's emotional overflow. You just happen to be the closest person when their inner pressure spilled out. And the Stoic approach is simple. Don't take ownership of someone else's chaos. Don't carry emotional weight that never belonged to you. Don't let someone else's storm pull you out of your center. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Before reacting, Stoicism teaches you to pause and ask a few simple but powerful questions. Is this really about me? Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? Do I want to give this person access to my emotions? And is my reaction helping anything or just feeding the fire? By the time you finish asking these questions, the emotional impulse has already weakened. You've created space, and in that space, you rediscover your stillness. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Let's bring this into a real-world example. You're explaining something at work, and someone interrupts you rudely. They cut you off. They talk over you. They dismiss what you were saying. It feels like disrespect. It feels personal. But here's the Stoic insight. Anyone who needs to dominate a conversation is battling insecurity. Anyone who constantly interrupts is afraid of not being heard. Their tone, their need to overpower you, their rush to speak, it all comes from an unstable place inside of them. So instead of reacting, you remain calm. You finish your point when it makes sense. You let their behavior reflect on them, not you. In that moment, something powerful happens. You become the steady one. You become the composed one. You become the one who is in control. Real control isn't about speaking the loudest. Real control is about maintaining your center while someone else loses theirs. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. When you stop taking things personally, your life begins to shift in noticeable ways. Your emotional highs and lows even out. You stop reacting to every little comment. You feel more confident because external criticism no longer feels threatening. Your relationships improve because you aren't responding from defensiveness. You gain mental strength because your reactions become intentional, not automatic. Most importantly, you begin to feel a deep sense of freedom because no one has the power to disturb your peace unless you hand it to them. And Stoicism teaches that you are the gatekeeper of your own mind. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Carry this phrase with you. This is not mine. Their anger is not mine. Their assumptions are not mine. Their projections are not mine. Their insecurities are not mine. Their accusations are not mine. You don't have to pick up every emotional package someone drops at your feet. You don't have to internalize their pain. You don't have to accept every story they try to hand you. You can leave their negativity exactly where it landed and walk away with your peace untouched. That is real strength. That is real discipline. That is real Stoicism. Remember, Wama, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still. Not taking things personally does not mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you don't absorb it. It means you don't let it stain your identity. It means you don't allow it to define your value. You can still set boundaries. You can still correct behavior. You can still speak up when needed, but you do it from clarity, not chaos. From strength, not insecurity. From stillness, not emotional reaction. Because your peace is too valuable to give away. Your mind is too sacred to let the world vandalize it, and your power is too important to hand over to people who don't even know what to do with their own. So as you move through your life, let this reminder anchor you in every moment of conflict, misunderstanding, or emotional noise. Remember, the world is noisy, but the Stoic mind stays still.